Lethal equipment has been around since the very first Call of Duty game. There's been a ton of gear pieces to choose from, and in some COD games, the lethal equipment is really valuable. In other games, a lot of players don't even pay attention to it because they were more concerned with their guns. But today, we're going to show love. Love to the 10 absolute best pieces of lethal equipment in Call of Duty history. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. And I want to say really quick before we get into this, thank you so much for all the support on the relaunch of the channel. Whether it's been the Call of Duty content, whether it's been the GTA updates, or even the other gaming videos we've put up from time to time, whether it be X-Defiant or Star Wars Outlaws. I appreciate the love, guys. We are definitely turning the corner and heading back in the right direction. It's because of each and every one of you. So thank you. Now, you let me know which of these lethals you like the most. Drop a like on the video. Remember, there's a PS5 giveaway. The pinned comment is below. And let's go. At number 10, Thermite in Modern Warfare 2019. There have been several variations of fire-based throwables, with the earliest example being the Molotov in World at War. But the 2019 version of the Thermite Grenade made some fundamental changes to the formula. It quickly became a fan favorite both in standard 6v6 multiplayer and the original version of Warzone. The 2019 Thermite was quick, it was light, it allowed you to toss in this super straight line with very little wind-up or cooldown. It hit the enemy directly, and it killed them. If it hit a wall or ground, it would burst into a pile of flames, applying a burn effect to anybody who stepped foot in the radius. It was good. It was good for holding down objectives, area denial, but the lethality of the direct impact made it great for enemy players, keeping them away from you. A fantastic piece of equipment. I think it's a good way to kick off today's video. At number 9, the IED in Ghosts. It's one of the most frustrating things about COD Ghosts as a whole, and that should tell you something about how good it was. It was basically a C4 charge that would detonate itself like a claymore. So you would toss out this little satchel, it would stick to any surface, blend in really well with the dark environments and the gray maps, then it would explode if an enemy walked by it. There was also no interaction between the IED and the spawn engine, so it wasn't uncommon for people to just throw IEDs at certain common spawn points and let the satchel go to work. We all hated it, but that's because it was really good. And it would get you a ton of kills every match pretty consistently. I think Infinity Ward nerfed the IED once or twice, but it never really lost the worthiness of a spot on today's list. Go subscribe to the Gaming Vault if you want to see Jimmy or Chaos's take on games, Let's Plays, full walkthroughs, full cinematic game movies, best moments in gaming. Go over there and subscribe. I hope to see you guys over there. There is a ton of content already up. We already have some of my favorite full game movies up. If you don't know what that is, it's basically an entire Let's Play of a game, but then it's cut down to the cinematic cutscenes to tell the story without all of the gameplay. But don't worry, we're also going to be starting Let's Plays. That's right, me, my voice, my commentary on future games that are coming up. So do me a favor, go over to the Gaming Vault, give it a sub, help me grow that channel as well. At number 8, the Trip Mine in Black Ops 3. Let's stay on the same premise of annoying landmines. It was an extremely popular piece of lethal equipment that was basically just the Ghost ID, but better. Trip Mine was a landmine. It would stick to any surface. You could throw it really, really far, and it was super easy to throw a Trip Mine across the map and let somebody get killed for 20 seconds later. It was annoying. It also had an annoying blast radius, very quick detonation time, and it made it almost impossible to avoid once it locked onto you. And if you were playing on one of the smaller maps, the trip mine spam could get it could get bad. It was bad. Cheesy kills everywhere. Throwing it down the floor, the hallway, the ceiling, it didn't matter. It was probably a bit too powerful in this game, but it was also very satisfying to use. I'm not going to deny that. At number 7, the S-Mine 44 in COD World War II. This was COD World War II's version of the classic Bouncing Betty, but it was insanely annoying because it was tiny. Now, before you say anything, I want to point out, I would have put the World at War Bouncing Betty here, but if it counted, but since it was actually a piece of special equipment in World at War, not actually one of the lethals, it's not here. That being said, the S-Mine 44 in COD World War II is a very close counterpart to it. I mean, it's a better version. It was extremely small, hard to spot during actual gameplay, plus the motion blur in COD World War II was pretty strong. So if you were playing with the motion blur enabled, it was impossible to see. Once triggered, it would pop up and explode, killing the target if they didn't go prone fast enough. In hardcore modes, there was also a good chance going prone would still kill you, that was annoying. The S-Mine in COD World War II was a bit nutty for a standard landmine. If you were playing COD World War II for more than the first few weeks, you probably agree with me. At number 6. The Semtex in everything. Yeah, everything. It was introduced in the original Modern Warfare 2 and has since returned in almost every single Call of Duty multiplayer experience. The concept is very simple. It's a frag grenade has a smaller blast radius, but it also sticks to the first thing it touches, making it better for precise throws and clearing out objectives. There was also some cheesy plays you could do with it. Stick it to the back of your buddy's head before he runs into a domination flag. I mean, yeah, the Semtex is a staple of Call of Duty, and I have to give it a shout out. Even if I couldn't narrow down the objective best version, I have to. Personally, I think the version from the classic Modern Warfare 2 and 3 is best, but maybe some of you prefer the more modern versions. It's okay. You let me know. Let me know which one you think is the best. Now we arrive at the top 5. The throwing knife, combat axe, and everything. It's another one. I couldn't quite narrow it down, but I think that it's understandable given how many versions there are. The throwing knife first appeared in the original Modern Warfare 2. Instant hit, kill. I mean, the community loved it. Potential to get awesome clips, super satisfying kills. The throwing knife would come out super quickly, fly very straight before killing the first enemy it made contact with, which at which point you would pick it back up and do it again. It was such a hit that it basically came back in every Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 2. They've all had some variation. In the Black Ops games, it was called the Tomahawk or the Combat Axe, and Infinite Warfare was tweaked into the Biospike. Basically, every Call of Duty game had some version of the throwing knife. And much like the Semtex, I'm pretty sure you guys are all going to have your own opinion on which version was the best, so you let me know. What was the best throwing knife, combat, axe, whatever you want to call it, combo? Which game? At number 4. Frag Grenades in COD 4. Call of Duty 4 had some absolutely ridiculous frag grenades, which was pretty annoying since they were the only lethal equipment in the entire game. Everyone spawned with a frag in COD 4, and these frags, they were juiced. Insane blast radius. You could throw them pretty far. On top of that, there was a blue perk that would let you take 3 frag grenades instead of the normal 1. And there was a red perk that would make your grenades even more lethal, and there was a yellow perk that would let you drop a grenade when you died. Frag grenades had a tremendous effect on the way COD 4 played. Just because of how insanely strong they were and how easy they were to spam with just a perk or two. Heck, it wasn't uncommon to watch somebody get 20 or 30 kills in a single match with frags. And if they were on a smaller map, yeah. I mean, the strongest frag grenade in COD history, no doubt in my mind. Now, we are at the top 3. C4 in Modern Warfare 3 2011. The C4 charge first appeared in COD 4, came back in some other classic Call of Duty titles, but it wasn't until Modern Warfare 3 that it really became popular. The 2011 version could be tossed out really quickly and then detonated almost as soon as it was airborne, which meant you could now use a C4 to do some cheesy things. You could throw it right at someone who was roughly 10 feet away. You could toss it through a window. You could toss it right over the piece of cover. If you were good at timing the explosion correctly, there was no counter. Being able to detonate the C4 midair made it one of the most helpful explosives in COD history. And believe it or not, the last 2 entries on this list, they're also versions of the C4. At number 2, the pre-patch C4 in Warzone 1. C4 was eventually patched up, but for the first few months of Warzone 2020, there was no reason to use anything else because of how busted they were. The C4 in this game was a standard satchel charge. You could throw out and then manually detonate once it was out of your hands. But even though Warzone was supposed to have much longer time to kills in it than standard multiplayer, it had this insane one-hit kill radius, and on top of that, it would instantly blow vehicles up even if they were 1% inside the blast radius. This meant the C4 was not only the best at killing enemies around corners or a piece of cover, it was also the best thing in the game for destroying vehicles and wiping entire squads with one giant boom. The pre-patch C4 in Warzone 1, it was nutty. I think there's only one other lethal in COD history that was better. And if you've been around, you already know what I'm doing here. We now arrive at number 1. The best lethal in COD history, hands down, the C4 in Black Ops 2. It's absolutely iconic to the franchise as a whole. Has to be number 1. Functioned almost identically to the Modern Warfare 3 version we talked about, but there was something about the gameplay of Black Ops 2 that made it even better. For starters, movement in Black Ops 2 was a lot smoother than Modern Warfare 3. It featured things like dolphin diving, perks, dexterity, fast hands. It all made the Call of Duty play faster. The Black Ops 2 C4, massive explosion, ridiculous one-hit kill radius, and super fast handling that meant it was hands down the best lethal in the game. If there was an enemy around the corner, throw C4. If there was an enemy through a window, just throw C4. If you weren't sure if there was an enemy nearby, guess what? Throw C4. The Black Ops 2 C4 was it. The best lethal equipment ever put in a Call of Duty game. And if you didn't actually get to use it back in the day, the chances are you'll disagree with me. But if you're with me and you did play during that era, you already know. It's tucked in at number 1, and that's exactly where it belongs. Let me know one lethal that didn't make the list, guys. Truly appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you soon.